Believe me, you're in a foxhole in fucking Afghanistan. A freaking cactus pudding bag would taste like ambrosia.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Bill.
We are the Bodybuilding team, selling beaded and stainless steel chain jewelry, highlighting and fitness and women's competition pieces. I can even custom just for you. Check us out
at Brent'sBling.com.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Rips and Rants. I'm Dave Palumbo with John Romano, and we will be ripping a few good ones. And I'm not talking about farts or anything. I'm talking about topics. I have I actually wrote down some topics today, John, because I'm so pissed off at so many different things.
Really? I was hoping we were having one of our legendary philosophical conversations.
Well, we probably will, because that's the reason I'm pissed off is because of the ridiculousness of the world we live in. So there'll always be some philosophical solution to, I guess, whatever my issues are, right?
Unless it's just burn it all down and start over, which is where
true.
I'm starting to lean towards these days.
Doesn't the Earth go through cycles where it basically gets rid of everything? It's almost like the equivalent of throwing up and purging everything out of yourself, and then just starting over fresh. So at some point, the Earth is either going to attract a meteor to wipe us out, and if that doesn't work, it might just flood the whole world again, and it'll get rid of all of us little varmint. It's like, when you have too many bugs in your house, you have to call the exterminator,
There is actually a catastrophic event brewing as we speak.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you ever hear what a trough volcano is?
No.
A trough volcano is like a regular volcano on steroids. It's basically, you can look it up. Instead of erupting like in one place, it erupts like in a path. Okay, and it creates incredible devastation because of the amount of ash and crap it spews into the atmosphere. The biggest trough volcano on Earth is guess where?
Hawaii.
Yellowstone National Park.
Oh, yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah.
So the scientists say that this trough volcano erupts every 600,000 to 700,000 years. Mm-hmm. And what happens is, it's just like you say, it's like a purging, because pretty much all life on Earth pretty much.
It's that bad? That's a pretty bad volcano.
Oh, it goes from like Wyoming to Michigan. It's like huge.
Well, we don't need all those states. There's not that many people who
it's not.
Does it block the sun? That's all I'm worried about. Does it block the sun?
Yes. So it's a catastrophic worldwide event, and a lot of life is lost. Right. A lot of the planet is set back. It's a big deal. It's a tremendously catastrophic event, and we are about 200,000 years overdue.
Oh, really? Well, we're kind of at ground zero here. Maybe we should move to like Europe or something like that. It might be a little safer over there.
If that thing, from what I've read, if that thing blows up, the entire world is affected.
I thought that's why they have those geysers, those things at Yellowstone to let the steam off so that it doesn't, to release some of the pressure.
Like they drill into people's heads. And
it's right, exactly. It's like the Earth's natural way of letting off the pressure. It's like Jimmy the Bull. When he gets really angry, you got to be able to diffuse him a little bit so he doesn't explode,
The key to controlling Jimmy is that exact thing. So you have to monitor the spewing.
You got to throw some beers in there, a couple, shots here and there. You got to throw him a bone once in a while. You give him like a little bonus or something like that, and maybe have a girl show up at his house. As long as you keep diffusing it, he doesn't completely explode all together.
I have been guilty of overdoing it, over-riling the bull. Yeah. And it's not pretty. But anyway, back to the original topic. Yes, that volcano is ready to go. So, and actually, if you, this articles, it kind of like it's like a cyclical, interest in this thing. Certain geological events occur that may indicate that this thing is ready to blow, and science focuses on it, and then they come back and focus on something else, like the Earth is.
Well, then it obviously is not ready to blow. Maybe that is not that close. It might,
no. Now a new cascade of geological events has popped up, and now they're worried about that. This is this is a warning call that this thing could go. Now, I have been saying, because of what you're frustrated with, how fucked up everything is right now, that we are so far gone as a society, divided, misinformed, misled, ill-advised, all of that shit together. We are so badly corrupted at this point right now, that a purge is what's due.
Well, there's some theories out there, John, that water responds to emotional state of the people, around it. So if there's a lot of negativity in the world, it could be influencing, the weather patterns on the planet, the geological patterns, and that could be the reason why this thing is brewing a little bit. So maybe if we can diffuse and start creating a little bit more harmony on this planet, maybe that we can put it down a little bit. We can just put it off a few hundred years.
You're wandering into Jimmy the Bull territory with that ideology right there. But scientifically, this is an issue. This could potentially be imminent. Okay, my position is this is what we need in order to bring the people together, in order to freaking get everybody's mind off what bathroom they want to use, and what weirdo contempt they're gonna elicit to determine what pronouns they need to use. A catastrophic event like that will wipe all of that shit right off the face of the planet in one fell swoop.
It might wipe us out off the place.
That's the thing. That's how far gone.
I'm not ready to give up yet. I'm ready to pack it in. Maybe when I'm 100 years old, they can blow the fucking shit of the planet out.
I don't want it to happen. I'm just saying, you tell me, what is the solution to the civil, social, political unrest that we have, not only in the country but in the world? We are at each other's throats.
Well, because we're doing it because we're being manipulated. We're being manipulated into it. That's why.
We are. So that's what I'm saying. And we're being manipulated by octogenarians that have one foot in the fucking grave. So this is the thing that irks me the most. All of the crap that Davos and Biden and whomever else is people
Soros.
Meeting in Davos. Klaus, what's his name? They're all in their 80s. George Soros. Yeah. These are all angry old men who want to leave some kind of corrupt legacy for us to wallow in after they're fucking dead and don't care. So this is what's really perplexing about the whole thing. And they have been able to drive a narrative that has split us apart. And what is going to put us back together? And I don't see, there's no cavalry mounting to undo the split. That doesn't exist. Whatever it does is feeble at best. So what is going to pull us back together? And throughout history, what is the one thing that unites people? Catastrophe. It's the only thing. War and catastrophe.
But you know what, John? Everyone has the ability to say no. And what's kind of sad about the whole narrative is that the few are manipulating the masses. There's 9 billion people on this planet now. Okay, if you take every corrupt politician out there and manipulate it behind the scenes, and you take all the police force that listen to them for whatever reason, it's still they're like a pimple on the end of a thimble. It's nothing. How are these few people manipulating so many people in this world? Because everyone's afraid. They're sheep. They've acquiesced all their rights. They'll just say, "Here, take my rights. I'm scared. I don't want to lose. I don't want to get COVID. I don't want to get this. I don't want to get that." They just make them afraid of everything, and no one wants to leave the house, and no one wants to do anything. No one wants to say no. They don't want to lose their free money that they get every month because no one wants to work. They want to sit home and play video games. So that's the problem with society. If people would just say, you know what, I'm not afraid to go out and work. I'll be able to do this for myself. I'll start my own business. I'm gonna be the one who's gonna make the calls. I'm not gonna take a vaccine if I don't want it. I'm not. You just got to say no. We all have an ability to do that, but we give up our rights, our freedoms to these few people who are making these ridiculous laws because people are afraid. That's why, John, you and I do this show and we're pariahs sometimes because of the fact that we're not afraid to say what the truth is. And that's the whole moniker of the website, right? The truth hurts. It really does. And no one wants to hear the truth. But I think there are enough people who are awakening to what's going on out there that I think that we have a shot at this. I don't think that it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to go into this like socialist society where we have no one has any rights anymore. I think people are going to get sick of it. The people of Florida are not giving up their guns, and the people of Texas sure as hell ain't giving up their guns. That's for sure. And as long as we have congressmen or legislators like our governor here, DeSantis, there's hope. There's hope that hopefully these guys don't sell out and that they stand up for our rights. But it is unusual times. But I'm more, forget what's going on in the world, because I live in my own little microcosm of my little loop I drive, every day. I get up, the kids go to school, we go to the gym, I go here. I'm the gym is important to you and I, right? That's a very big part of our life. Even if we're only there for 45 minutes to an hour, 5 days a week, it's a big deal for us. And I am so crazy sick of these people who clean the machines. I know it sounds ridiculous, okay? But since COVID, now they have these spray bottles every 6 inches all over the gym with paper towels, and they want you to wipe down spray the machines. First of all, here's a rule. If you don't sweat on the machine, you don't have to wipe it down, okay? Right. If you have a slick of like fucking slop sweat because you're a fat slob or you've been exercising very hard, then you got to wipe the machine down. Then you can spray. But when you wipe a machine down, you have to dry the machine. You can't leave the cleaning solution still on the machine with wet streaks going up, because no one wants to lay in that swampy, sweaty soup that you have just made. You've added the cleaner to the sweat, and then you just gave it one wipe and you walked away. Right? And I've bitched and complained about this before. I tell the guys who run the gym, and I give them all free sweatshirts and free species stuff. So they listen to me. They listen to my bitch and complaining, and they agree. But people are just morons. But they have these massage beds in the place. Those beds with the water jets that shoot up at your back. And it's like there's like a layer of like nylon material that lays on top of it. You lay on top of that, and the jets, you can adjust the how strong it is and how fast it moves. It's like a 10-minute massage. It's a nice end of the workout. I go there and I watch whatever, play with my phone, and I get a little massage. Okay, because I'm too lazy and I don't have enough time to go get a real massage. So that's what I do. It's part of my membership.
Right.
But they got the spray bottles there too. Now, if you spray nylon that has pores in it, okay, you can't wipe all the liquid off of it because it seeps into it. It's like a material almost that you're laying on. Mm-hmm. So what these fucking morons do, I shouldn't curse because then we're gonna get demonetized, is they take the spray bottle. You can't, that's the new one. I told you.
I know we talked about that on the other show.
Yeah, I think you get two. I think you get two F words.
What the hell is Andy Frisella gonna do?
I don't know. All I know is I just did one. You get one maybe for the whole show. You do any more.
Frisella's got 90 in one sentence.
Jimmy, forget it.
Jimmy is worse. Yeah.
So why a person in their right mind who goes in the massage bed every day, most of these, and I got to blame, it's usually the ladies, but the men are pretty stupid too. They get the spray bottle and they spray it. They drench the bed. Now, it's like drenching your pillowcase, okay, at your house. If you drench your pillowcase, what's going to happen for the next person that comes there? They're going to lay in a wet material.
The soup.
So you cannot physically wipe all that wet off. So what you're supposed to do is spray the towel and just give it a quick, wipe over it. So if there's any sweat or whatever bacteria that you kill it. Not drench the bed so that when I go sit and lay in the bed now and I get up, my shirt's wet, my shorts are wet, and my head is wet from whatever you sprayed on it. And I'm not sure if it's sweat, if it's cleaner, or what. And I don't even know if I prefer the sweat over the cleaner, because the sweat might actually not be as bad as the cleaner in my hair. Okay, so why? And I even have got to the point of frustration that I'm actually schooling people. I'm telling them, listen, if you can't wipe down this bed properly, don't clean it at all. She's like, what do you mean? I said, well, would you want to lay in a wet bed? It's soaking wet. How am I going to lay in this thing and get a massage without getting my clothing soaked full of whatever you just sprayed on there? And they look at you puzzled, like I'm asking them to solve the quadratic equation, okay, that they haven't done since high school. And I'm like, I mean, am I making sense? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, fine. You're a moron. What do you want me to tell you? Okay. And I even out in the gym floor, I tell people, look, they're going, I could tell who the people who are going to overspray. I see the woman going for the spray. I'm like, don't clean the machine. She's like, why not? I said, you didn't sweat on it. Why were you going to spray the machine? And you know what's going to happen? You're going to spray the machine and you're going to leave a big slick of water there. Well, these paper towels stink. I said, well, then don't spray the machine down. You're making it worse by putting moisture on the machine, because I have to sit on the machine now. You have to think about the next person, not just yourself, that you're doing the complimentary wipe, okay, and then leaving the machine. It's like my son. You know, I say, clean your rooms. What does he do? He takes all the shit and he throws it in his closet and closes the closet.
Dave, let me tell you something about gyms.
Yeah.
I'm a former gym owner, all right? As you know. And I can tell you firsthand that the gym brings out the absolute worst in humanity, especially when it comes to hygiene. People will do things in a gym that they would never dream of doing outside of the gym, okay, especially with regard to hygiene. And it's absolutely amazing. It is absolutely mind-blowing to me what people will do in the gym that you would see things I would see things in the locker room that I'm like, really?
You know, locker room stuff, I understand. Like, some people just can't aim their fucking anus into the toilet bowl, so the shit hits the back of the toilet.
How does that happen?
Wall.
But wait, that's one great example. That's one wonderful example.
I understand that, but I don't understand how they can.
In whose house? In their house.
John,
do you see feces smeared on the wall behind the toilet, between the wall and the tank?
I've thought hard and long about this, John.
I want to know whose house has that. Okay, if your house has that, then I understand why you brought it to my gym. Okay, but if your house doesn't have that, why is it in my gym?
All right, I've thought hard and long about this, and I figured it out, I think. All right, think about Valentino when he goes to the bathroom, okay? It sprays out of his ass, right? Because he's got bowel problems, okay? Now imagine Valentino not wanting to sit on the toilet seat, okay? And too lazy to put toilet paper down. So what would Valentino do? He would bend over and be about 2 inches above the rim, and he would try to aim his ass into the toilet. But because the poop doesn't just like come out in like, pieces, it sprays, he's going to spray the whole back of the toilet, because if he's a millimeter off, if he's like 3 degrees off, the trajectory of the shit coming out of his rear end is not going to make it into the water of the bowl. It's going to make it on the back of the bowl. And then he's going to say, holy mackerel, look what I did. Do I really want to clean this up? Nah, that's not my job. That's what the guy here at the locker room.
Yes, no. That's the whole point. If you know that you're capable of blowing out the whole entire back of the toilet bowl, all right? And you're worried about sitting on the fucking rim? You're gonna put toilet paper down? What are you kidding me? That's like putting a stamp down on the floor when you're going to spray paint the whole fucking wall. To keep
it's like guys. I always wonder, why do guys pee in the bathroom? And if you go into a stall and you pee, and they're too lazy to lift the seat up. Why
they
would
do
you
it
pee
with
with
their
the
foot
seat
if they're
down?
that faux germ phobia, you know? I mean,
No, but you can grab a piece of toilet paper. That's what I do and lift the seat up. Why would you just pee on the seat? Someone is going to go in there invariably and have to use the bathroom like go poops, and then they got to sit on the seat. And so it's a compounding problem. So the number one guy comes in. He's like, I got to pee, but I don't want to lift the seat up, so I'm just going to pee. I have good aim, but of course he doesn't. So he pees all over the seat. Then he leaves because God forbid, he takes a piece of toilet paper and wipes that clean, right? And then the next person comes in. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom so bad. It's Valentino. Oh, look at the seat. It's all full of pee. What am I going to do? Oh, I'll just aim. And then he aims. Of course, he misses, hits the back of the rim and hits the back of the toilet bowl, splatters it with poops. He's like, I don't want to clean this up. It's not my toilet anyway. Fuck these guys here. So I just used the second curse. And he goes and he just leaves the bathroom. And then you come in or I come in next and we walk into the stall. We're like, what's that stink? Holy mackerel. There's pee on the toilet seat. There's poop on the back of the toilet and on actually they hit the wall too. Holy mackerel. Who would be stupid enough to do this? And that's how it happened. I just, that is an accurate, very well done cascade of events that ultimately leads to the disaster. But if you go backwards to the primal wound in the whole thing, it's your house. Would you do that in your house? Of course not, but people they don't have any manners whatsoever.
I don't understand. But where does that thinking come from that when the bathroom is not in the house, then if it's in an airplane, a gym, a gas station, I got to tell you a bathroom story after this. It's going to blow your mind. And I probably told you already if I did stop me. But anyway, my point is, why does the bathroom change its characteristic from house to outside the house? Why can't people treat it the same?
I got news for you. If I was the gym people, if it was my gym, I would leave the cleaning solution with the paper towels in the bathroom because you know what? I would clean the toilet bowl for the person. That's how anal I am. Because I've gone into bathrooms, John, where the gym had one toilet and I had to go so bad and there was crap on the toilet seat and there was pee and I had to clean it. I had to go. There was no way I was making it out of it in my house. I had to go. I had to clean it, and it was disgusting. But I did it, And I'm sure the guy who worked at the gym was very happy that I cleaned it.
So here's my bathroom story. Yeah. I'm driving cross country, and I had to pee like a freaking racehorse on clenbuterol. All right, and I missed the exit. The next exit didn't have a bathroom. By the time I got to the exit with the bathroom, it's the middle of the night too. It's like 2:00 in the morning. Yeah. And I'm like busted. And so I go to get the key from the guy in the thing. I go open the door. I go in. The door shuts behind me. The light goes on. I'm trying to get my, to pee. And then I'm looking around. I'm like, my eyes are starting to water. The stench is so fucking bad. Somebody painted shit on the walls, the ceiling, the toilet, the sink, the mirror, the back of the door. There was a coating of shit everywhere, including the door handle to try to get at it. I was trapped. I had the door shut, and I got the handle. There's no toilet. I'm standing in a shit box, and I got no toilet paper. I can't. I took off my fucking sock. All right. Thank God, because normally I drove in flip-flops and I had no shoes, no socks on. All right. So because I like to take my shoes off when I'm driving. So I took my sock off.
Couldn't you go in the woods someplace?
At that point, I did. I fucking peed out the door because but I had to take my sock off to touch the door, and I threw my sock away because I had to get out of there. It was the doorknob had shit on it. Was shit everywhere. So now you gotta pause for a second when you encounter something like that, okay, in your life, and I think to myself, not about the horrible situation that I found myself in. Excuse me, but the state of mind of the perpetrator of this little joke What do they do? Sit there with a fucking popsicle stick and a pile of shit, and they're fucking smearing this on like a palette knife? What is going through your mind? That's got to take an hour, right? To coat a bathroom with shit. What the fuck are they? Sorry. What are they thinking? Okay. Worse, shit.
Yeah.
And Facebook tells
we had the,
YouTube
you got the demented. It's like the monkeys that throw their poops at people, you know. I don't know. I don't. It baffles me, to be honest with you.
Completely,
but,
totally. But anyway,
what's going on with this motorcycle you're building now?
Well, it's the source of most of my frustration today. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things, man. It's like when you get creative with things, and I don't do things cookie cutter. And that's the big Lenny. That's my MV. The bike I'm building now is a Harley. No, yeah, those are the turn signals I made. Yeah. I remember. Because I had to it used to have this big ugly arm that came across the back tire to mount the license plate and the turn signals. Yeah. So in order to get rid of that thing so I could see the back tire, I had to find a place to put the license plate, which you see now is remounted under there, and the turn signals, which I Frenched into that's primer, by the way.
Are you turning into a fabricator now? Like, is that going to be something you're going to be doing now? Is that your new thing?
I've kind of always done it. I did actually have a bike shop in LA for a few years called Bad Bikes in Culver City, but it was partners with this guy Ed. He was really, really good fabricator. I learned a lot from him, and I kind of took a break. I built a few bikes. I took a break from it for a while just because of life, and now that I have the opportunity and the space, actually. Right. I have a dedicated, shop, a separate building, and I have the opportunity to do it. So now I'm getting back into it, honing my skills again. And so now I built that bike. That still needs a paint job.
Now, do you actually sell any of your bikes, or do you keep everything that you make?
I've sold them, the prior ones. Right now, right. The Harley I'll sell because because then I can build another one.
That's what I'm saying. I think you should put it out there that you're going to sell these bikes so that the bodybuilders or people who watch our show or know people that are into bikes might want to buy a Romano bike.
Yeah, they're definitely unique. I'm not not for nothing, but I do put details in there that you got to know bikes to pick them out and
you're selling it to a specialized group of people who like custom bikes. They're going to know about all this stuff. I'm not going to know about it, but people are into custom.
It's really labor intensive. I mean, see on this bike here, you can you can see, but the bottom of the cylinder head right here, the cylinder jug right here. That's that head is up there. That's the jug where the fins are. You can see a chrome strip there. The bottom three fins were ground off of that, and the rim was polished. So you wouldn't know that unless you were knowing to look for it. But that's extremely labor intensive. You see all my oil lines are all race fittings, and
it looks like a lot of work to me. I mean, but I guess it's a labor of love because you enjoy what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I do, and it's the details. That's the thing with bikes is that they're manageable. It's like a car, for example. I think of Troy Moore all the time with the cars. Yeah, you got to rewire a car, man. That's such a nightmare. I mean, there's so much shit that goes into a wiring harness in a car, and a bike. It's so simple. It's just it's 100th of what it is in a car. Right. And that's just one example. Just getting to stuff. I mean, the worst thing you can do on a motorcycle is turn it upside down or something. I mean, it's always you can pick it up.
Don't you have to worry about the motorcycle getting too hot and melting the wiring too?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, you gotta route things correctly and make sure you're not getting into near heat or anything. But it's the ability to magnify details in a motorcycle it's much more doable for me than a car, because a car would take you 10 years to build with the amount of detail that you put into a bike. So I do things like hiding the wires and hiding the plumbing and hiding the cables and keep the bars clean. And I do other, like the grinding of the fins. I'm doing this new thing on this bike that I'm building called diamond cut, where instead of polishing the edge of the fin, they actually facet it like a diamond. And
really?
it picks up the light, it sparkles more. It's like more of a show kind of thing. So yeah, I'm going to try that. So I mean, different little things that make it unique, so that you're not riding, you're not passing yourself when you're out on a ride. You don't see the same bike coming. It's unique. Although I will say this though, motorcycles pretty much, especially in the Harley, V twin realm, all bikes are different. There's no two that are the same, and that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, no, you're doing some amazing stuff. I'm really jealous of that, that river you built in your backyard with the river bank and everything like that. I'm like, I got to get Romano out here to do some building. I got all these ideas on putting natural outdoor enclosures for my reptiles. I could. If you lived around the corner, forget it. I'd have you working every single day.
Everybody says that. But
you could put cement in the ground. You do it the right way. I'd be like, just here's what I want to do, John. I don't want to know how you're doing it. Just this is what I need done. And you just tell John to do it. And he goes out and doesn't even ask you a question and will completely do exactly what you pictured in your head. And it'll be like, holy mackerel, how did you know? This is exactly what I wanted, So
thank you.
That's a talent. That's a talent. All right. I want to bring up another topic. Plastic surgery. Okay. Because we've talked about the butt lifts already, with the girls and the wellness and all that craziness. And I want to talk about facial surgeries. Whoa!
It's so funny you mentioned that, because I'm about ready to get some done.
Oh, you are? What are you getting done?
My hair, my eyes.
All right. Before you go,
and that and this.
Oh, you're gonna get a facelift, basically.
Yep, facelift and my.
You might as well do the whole thing. Don't just do your eyes.
Well, I'm gonna do the lift and the eyes.
Okay. So, I thought that's all. Doesn't the eyes? Isn't that included?
No, I got these like these bags under, right here, like everybody.
Well, don't they take the fat pads out or something like that?
They actually do a combination of fat. They actually fill part of it and they take part of it out.
All right. I want to make a statement first, just so you don't do anything that you're going to regret. I see that these Hollywood people, let's not even talk about the women, because we're men. Okay, let's talk about the men. These guys, some of them will get these facelifts. Okay. But before they do the facelifts, they first start doing all the fillers. Now, I have nothing. Botox is fine. I'll tell you why Botox is fine. Because if you do too much, it wears off after a couple months. Okay. But these guys are getting fillers in their face, and they look like these crazy, kooky women in Hollywood. They get too many of the fillers. And what it does is it puffs your face out, and it makes you look like you're almost like you have like Cushing syndrome, or you're on prednisone or something like that. And then, because it looks so freaky, then they go and get a facelift to pull it tight, and they look like Liberace. They get this like transparent looking skin.
Yeah.
Have you seen the pictures of Simon Cowell recently?
Yeah, I know. I've seen so many. Dave, this is a topic I've researched ad nauseum.
Have you seen these pictures of Simon?
The recent ones, no.
All right,
but he's had a ton of work done.
Look at this. He says he had fillers and Botox first, but now they had some plastic surgeon woman analyze his face. And while she can't, say for sure, because she doesn't know, but she said he definitely had a nose job. And what she thinks he did is took the cartilage from his nose and they made the tip thicker. I don't know why he did that, because I thought he had a pretty good nose already.
Wait, what is the after picture on the right?
The first picture's on the right. If the after picture's on the right, it would be good. Do you see?
I mean, with the blonde hair, is that because maybe we're flipped around?
Hold on.
With the blonde hair, the
blonde hair is the after.
Okay, so that's my.
You can see he looks weird. He's got like this like skin like a woman now. It's like get this like perfectly crazy stretched out skin. He looks weird. His whole face looks like distorted. He lost the contour of his face, like almost.
Yeah, he kind of looks melted. It looks crooked.
Yeah. And I've seen this happen to like Mickey Rourke. You remember Mickey Rourke?
Oh my God, he was the worst.
Mickey Rourke was a rugged, good-looking guy who decided to get plastic surgery, and he
A
ruined
lot
himself.
of plastic surgery.
But then he kept trying to get more to fix what he had done. I mean, he deformed himself, and I like him. He's a good guy. I know him.
Yeah.
But he'll be the first person to say he screwed up. And his face melted. I don't know what happened to his face.
Michael Jackson, he's another great example of the over.
Yeah, he just went crazy with the nose. He didn't really mess with his face too much. I think it was more of a nose. He did too many nose surgeries, so his nose
And the
fell
skin
apart.
bleaching and all the other crap.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the fillers that look ridiculous. They look ridiculous on the women too. Look, if you have some lines in your face, okay, that's called character lines. If you fill those out to make yourself look younger, it just looks puffy. It doesn't look better.
Well, actually, a lot of it depends on the doctors. I get Botox, and I've had some filler put in down here. But
your body probably eats it up. I guarantee you your body eats that up because your metabolism.
No, it does. It does. I only did the filler one time. I didn't go back again. I think it was restroom.
Thank God. Don't do the fillers. I'm warning you. You heard it here. You guys, you can tell. Say Dave warned them.
I'm not going to. No, I'm not. I'm not doing. No, I'm doing as much of it as surgically as possible.
I've seen good eye jobs. Dr. Blau, I've seen him do some really good eye jobs on people.
Maybe I'll go back to him.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still doing it anymore because he's a little old. He's kind of focusing only on gynecomastia now just because he likes to do it. But my point is, there are good guys that probably around you that you can get the eyes done.
Yeah,
eyes are okay.
There's a really good guy here I went and saw. So that's
you don't want to look Chinese. You don't want to have the Asian eye. You can't have them pull back your eyes too much because then you're going to look ridiculous. Because you have small eyes already. You don't want your eyes to go to little slits. It's going to look stupid. I'm telling you.
I squint all the time anyway.
Right.
So no, this guy I went to, I specifically told him, I said, look, I don't want to look like this, you know, right. And so he goes, no. He goes, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I go, and you know, I don't have a hairline, so I don't know where you're going to put the scar. So, you know, I don't want to.
But they do it behind your ears, John. They pull it back behind your ears.
It's exactly what he said. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're mild. I don't want to, you know.
Look, if you're going to do it, you got to get, you don't want to get one and then have people don't even notice it. But,
right.
You know,
no.
My father, his whole life would from 60 on, he would do this. He'd pull his cheeks back. He'd be like, if I got a facelift, I would look like I'm 35 years old. He would tell it all the time. He's always telling me. I'm like, then go get a facelift. What do you want me to tell you? What are you walking around with your hands like this for? I said, you look ridiculous. Look, it's all my face fell. Now I know what's going to happen. I'm going to hit fucking 60 years old and I'm going to have the same thing. I'm going to walk around showing everyone my face like this because we all become our parents as we get older.
Well, but at least we have the vanity level to do something about it. I
didn't want my father to do something about it because he would not have been happy with the results and he would have been complaining about it for the rest of his life.
You got to look at it this way: if you're still maintaining your physique, your training, you're doing all this other stuff, your face has got to need attention too. The thing is, I told the doctor, I do not want to end up like Siegfried and Roy with the face like.
Listen to me. You're going to listen to me. It's an addiction. It's like bodybuilding. It's like doing steroids. It's an addiction that you can't stop because you want to just keep making it a little better, a little better. Don't do it. Let me tell you something. First of all,
bodybuilding?
You're a distinguished look. You have a distinguished look. It looks good. If you want to fix the bags on your eyes, fine. You've had that your whole life, though. That's your look. But these
things have always been.
Don't get a facelift. I'm telling you, you're going to regret it because they will fuck it up. I guarantee it. It's going to change your whole look.
So no filler, no facelift, but I can get my eyes done.
Yes, because I've seen, sometimes the wrinkles around the eyes, some people, it's almost like you have this like extra skin on your eyelid too. That's fine. I've seen those surgeries. You don't even know because they cut the extra skin off. They pin it in.
I've seen that work too. Yeah.
Yeah. Eyes they're very good at. Once you stop pulling your whole face back, I'm telling you, it changes the way you look.
Don't they peel your whole face off first? Is that true?
No, they tease it. They have to tease the skin away from the connective underlying muscles. You know, that's why also they can damage the nerves there if they don't know what they're doing, or if something goes wrong, and then you can get paralysis, which we see a lot of happening in these Hollywood people.
Yeah, that's true. There was a famous case of a waitress in Vegas that happened to. Well, actually, she was a showgirl that had to become a waitress because of
really. It doesn't matter for men. Women get stuff done because they're judged by society by how beautiful they are. It doesn't matter. No one even cares, John. No one's even looking. The uglier we are, the better you do probably in life. People are not intimidated by you then. They don't care. They're like, and it just makes us look tougher, you know.
Well, I've dealt with that my whole life. But it's the thing. What happens is, we are in a very, very, very body conscious, environment, and looks are a huge part of, are involved in what we do, for a living. We're involved in this, So, and we've both been in contest shape. So, and bigger and leaner and younger. And when you've seen yourself look like that, it's very difficult to look at yourself now at 62 and say, and you can see where things used to be, and they're what it's not there anymore.
Right. But it's like taking a wig. Okay. You get the best wig of all time to try to mimic the way you looked when you were younger. I want a wig that makes me look like that my hair looks like when I was 26. You put the wig on and you think, oh, look at this, I got hair. You take a picture, you look like a fucking clown with a fucking wig on. You can't replicate the youthful look. It's very, very hard to do that unless you have perfect features. Some of these guys with perfect features, they could do anything and it stays perfect. There are people that do well with plastic surgery. I think guys that are by nature rugged looking don't do well, because what it does is it changes their whole look to their face. They go from this rugged guy to like this, it looks like this rugged guy is trying to be like a model all of a sudden, and it doesn't mesh. That's Simon. Simon had this like tough guy face, like I'm gonna beat your ass, and he went from that. Now he has like a plasticky looking face, like he's some fashion model that's trying to hold on too long, like Liberace,
Well, I mean, the trying to hang on too long is the disease. I don't think it's an addiction to plastic surgery. I think it's just trying to hold on. And like I said, especially in our realm, I mean, it's not the age looking freak. I don't dye, like I could dye my beard, I don't do that. I mean, I don't dye any of, why would I'm gray. It's the way it is. But it's like, I look for certain facial things when you have things, it almost looks like not a deformity, but like a disease kind of thing. I mean,
it's called old age. It's called old age. It's called old age. Are you planning on shaving your beard?
Did what?
Are you planning on shaving your beard?
Probably not.
Okay, then why get a facelift? It doesn't matter. No one's going to know anyway. Just get your eyes done.
It's just, I'm going to get my eyes done. Well, this all started with getting my eyes done, and then
trust me when I tell you. Look, if I thought, like, I am hardly conservative. I'm just telling you, it's gonna ruin your face. You're not gonna look younger. You're gonna look like an old guy trying to look young, and it's gonna be embarrassing. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's the Siegfried and Roy syndrome.
Because it's gonna look your skin's gonna look too good. You know what I mean? And but it's gonna look. It's not gonna mesh with your face and the rest of you, and it's gonna be like, there's another old guy trying to look like.
Well, now that you've talked me out of that, that means that's another motorcycle I can build.
There you go. Right. You're gonna save a lot of money. I just saved you a lot of money. But the eyes, I'm all in favor of, because the eyes, you could definitely they do a good job on eyes.
Yeah, no, I am absolutely 1,000% getting my eyes done.
Do those. I'd be interested to see how yours turn out. Not that I need mine done yet, but probably by the time I'm 60, I probably will. Yeah. I noticed I'm getting a little bit of I thought I was going to avoid it, but I'm getting a little bit of wrinkles around here. What are the crow's feet they call that?
Yeah, crow's here. Yeah. But Botox helps a lot with those.
Yeah, I haven't done any Botox. When I was with around Blau, I used to go all the time because he would just bang it in there. But
I do it for the ones.
Yeah, I hate the whole appointment thing, and maybe It's not bothering me that much. You know what? I don't even care anymore, to be honest with you.
It's for me. It's an outing with my wife. We go get Botox.
Yeah, if your wife's going already, you might as well go and get yours done too, right?
Instead of meeting for lunch downtown, we meet for Botox. You know?
I'm not against. I think Botox is great because, like I said,
toxin.
You know what? I think it's okay because, like I said, it wears off. So even if you get the worst job or possible and you're paralyzed half your face and it looks like Rocky from, it's good. In a couple months, it'll be gone,
That's true. Cause actually the last one that did it, my eyebrows were like up here like this. I go, what did you do? It's like I'm in the look of shock all the time.
Right.
So can you like tone that? So she goes, oh, I'll put it over here. It'll bring them down. And I go, the thing is where we go, it's like you get it. There's nobody stays there very long. So in the few years I've been going to this one place, I've had like 5 different techs.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So if they would just,
I would almost rather do my own Botox, because I feel I could do a better job than probably the tech. Now, Dr. Blau was really good, so I didn't have to worry about him. But yeah, these techs, they're not doctors that are doing it anymore. They're like PAs, if that. They probably took a course in Botox injections. I think that I have much more experience taking injections than anyone giving Botox does. So I would rather do my own Botox personally. I wonder if you could buy the stuff.
You can in China. The whole reason why we went to this place was that the tech was a neurosurgeon who used Botox to treat migraines very successfully. Right. So she was like an expert, Botox expert, and she worked at this aesthetic place. Somebody gave her the connection or whatever. We ended up going. She was really, really good. Or absolute. People think this is easy, but you got to know where to put those little, pricks, the little pin, the little injections, because you get like 10, 12 of them.
I saw Blau do it so many times to me already. I know exactly where to put it at this point.
I mean, yeah, if you've been shown how to do it, but I mean, there's nerves you got to watch out for.
Blau, you know what, Blau? I love him. He's literally my second father. Blau would use these when he first started doing it. He was using these like 25 gauge needles. Now, a 25 gauge is easier to put it in because it doesn't bend the needle.
Right.
But you're sticking the same needle in 600 times into a person's head. It gets dull.
It's tough.
I'm like, listen, I said, Modi. That's his name. That's his first name. Modi Blau. I said, Modi, listen.
I thought it's Mordecai, right? And it's
Mordecai, but everyone calls him Modi.
Modi's short, right?
I said, he doesn't like when I call him Dr. Blau. He likes when I call him Modi. So I said, Modi, listen to me. Can you put a small needle on the thing? Can you put a 30 gauge on there for me? Even if you got to change it halfway out, I said, because it gets a little dull. Because you're killing my head. I said, the worst part about it is when I leave, the next day, my whole head hurts from that 25 gauge being stuck. Because I have very thick skin on my skull. It's like, it looks thin, my skin, but I'm telling you, to get through that skin layer, it's like you got to really bang it in pretty hard. And I was in agony. I said, please. So after that, he started using the 30 gauges, and I never had a problem. So
the only thing about Dr. Blau, I love Dr. Blau. Okay? I would have him do any procedure on me. The only criticism I have about Morty is that he doesn't believe that his patients feel pain.
No. No, when he drained your chest too, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
when he took the stitches out of my nipples, oh my God! I thought he was just tearing the nipple off.
Don't worry, John. It's no big deal. He took an 18 gauge needle and had to drain my chest. Now you have to use an 18 gauge, otherwise you won't be able to pull the stuff out of there.
Huge.
Well, you have to use it, but you can go in slowly. He rammed it into my pec muscle so hard. And he got it right in the right place, and he pulled it out. But I was like, oh, I almost got knocked unconscious from sticking it in there.
You're right. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yes. He's like, look, he once told me I had a little skin tag like right by my eye. You ever get those?
Yeah, no, but I know what you mean.
They could cut them right off. It's not a big. I said, Modi, can you get this thing off my eye? He goes, it's a skin tag. He goes, not a big deal. He's like, I'll just cut it off. I said, okay. So he gets the scissor and he gets the tweezers. I said, wait. what about the lidocaine? I said, you haven't put any lidocaine in yet. He's like, the lidocaine shot's going to hurt more than me cutting this thing off is going to hurt. I said, all right, I'm going to trust you. And so he cut the thing off with no lidocaine, and he was right. It probably the needle into my eye would have probably hurt way more than but just the idea. It was like not a big deal. Don't worry, I take it off in 2 seconds. While he's talking and having a conversation with someone else, he's cut this thing off. I'm like, can you, Modi? He's like, don't worry, this is easy. He removed for some reason when I was bodybuilding. I don't know if it was the steroids or some GH. I got a lot of little cysts and little things growing. And I don't know why. I always had little skin things. I was always going there and he was cutting things off left and right all the time.
No kidding.
Yeah. And since I stopped, doing all the antibiotics, I don't really get a lot of things. Once in a while, I get a little thing on my head. I'll think I have skin cancer, that kind of thing. So I go to the dermatologist and they freeze it off, It's probably, she's like, you're going to get a lot of those.
Have you gotten hypersensitive as you've gotten older to
what?
Like, I mean, if I get a pain over here, I'm like, this has got to be so, because
I will tell you this though. I was in the gym the other day and I went for my annual cardiac CT angiogram scan. It's because they look at my aorta and measure it, and it came back like a millimeter bigger. So now he wants to do an ultrasound and he wants me to see him. And I'm like, oh boy, I know they're going to want to do surgery. Every year I've had a surgery now. It's like, can I go 1 year without a surgery? And this would be a big, God forbid they have to repair my aorta.
Is that open heart?
Yeah. Well, they don't open your ribs. They kind of open it up higher. It's like a window they make up there. It's not so bad, but they got to still put you on a heart lung machine and everything like that. If they're going to, so I don't want that. So of course I've already built this thing up in my head to be more than it probably is. And so I'm in the gym and I start feeling this like pulsing feeling in my neck. And now I'm starting to get, I'm like, oh shit, I wonder if my aorta ruptured, dissected, meaning the basement membrane, because that's what you're at risk for. If the aorta ruptures, you die pretty much,
immediately.
So now I'm starting to get short of breath. I'm like, calm down. I said, you're a hypochondriac. I'm telling myself. I finished the workout. I go and I got to do some chores. I go to the supermarket. I'm still feeling not. I'm every little creaking thing. But now I'm starting to read Wikipedia and Google and all the symptoms and everything like that. And of course, now I'm building symptoms. I have 2 symptoms, 3 symptoms.
Right.
I get to the CVS. I'm going to go through I'm online at the drive-through, and I can't breathe. I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm done. I'm like, I had to pull off the line and park the car and call my wife and talk. I said, look, I don't know what's going on, but it could be this. She's like, you want me to come pick you up? I'll take you to I said, just talk to me. Let's talk through this a little bit. Okay.
You wound yourself up that bad?
Yes, I gave myself an anxiety attack because I wasn't in pain, but I was. She's like, well, according to she's reading now online, it's the left side of your face might get numb. I said, it's numb. It's numb. I feel it. I swear I started feeling numb, John. And then I remembered my father. My father was in the Army. He had just graduated Columbia Teachers College, master's degree. He gets drafted. Now he had gone to school, and back then, if you get straight A's in school, you would avoid the draft because they were drafting back then. And he didn't want to go to the Korean War because people get killed there. So he avoided. The Korean War ended, and I think the next year he graduated from Columbia Teachers College, straight A's, and they drafted him because now he's not in school anymore. And he was so mad that he had to go, and he thought he was so smart because he was a master's degree and he's going to boot camp with these, redneck, drill sergeants. And my father was like being a wise ass and correcting their English and all kinds of like stuff. He should have just kept his mouth shut. And he would get all these like latrine, duties where he'd have to clean the toilet bowls and scrub the floor with a toothbrush and everything like that. So it got to the point where he was so self-destructive that he lost his voice. He couldn't talk. I don't know if I told you the story. I've told the story before. He couldn't speak. He literally couldn't speak. And they diagnosed him. There was nothing wrong with him. He had to go to the Army-based psychiatrist, and he had to write down on paper what was going on. And he told the guy everything, and his history and all this. And they're like, this guy says, I think you have like a psychosomatic, like your body shut your voice off because you were getting yourself into too much trouble. And my father's a total head case with everything. He always over exaggerates everything. So once he came to this guy made this realization, and my father thought about it, all of a sudden my father's voice came back like 2 hours later.
That is the
stuff.
textbook definition of hysteria. That's what hysteria is.
Yeah. So it happens. It's real. It's a real phenomenon. And once I realized that I was being ridiculous, and that I was, because I hadn't acknowledged that it was bothering me, I guess. And once I talked it out a little bit and was speaking about it, all of a sudden, all the symptoms went away.
You can talk yourself in or out of almost anything. I remember that famous line in Pumping Iron when Arnold is talking about, how he's going to psych out Louis, and Arnold will say, "I will spend with him one night, and by the morning he will be ready to lose." Yeah, I will just talk him into it.
Yeah. Arnold didn't even need to do that. He just had breakfast with him the morning of the show and he talked him out of it.
But the point is that that's how powerful your mind is. Is that hysteria is people think hysteria is like something's really funny. No, hysteria is your mind actually causing an organic change in your physicality, and with no reason. No organic cause. So, people talk themselves into blindness, deafness.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of psychosomatic reasons to.
Look at Jimmy and Lee Priest. They're always at the emergency room,
Jimmy with his stones, his
No, not the stones. That's a real thing. I'm talking about when he thinks he's having a heart attack and he goes to the emergency room.
I think he talks himself into making kidney stones.
No, I think the hot dogs he eats makes the kidney stones. I think that when he thinks he's having a heart attack and it's really indigestion from going to that Italian restaurant, that he always goes to. I think that he's like my father. That's and then he starts reading online about all the side effects or all the things that you experience when you're having a heart attack, and he manifests every single one of them, just like I just told you. And then of course he's home alone. So he gets scared, and then he goes to the VA emergency room.
And the nurse, he likes the nurse.
Well, yeah, but he likes the attention from the nurse there, but he doesn't like getting attention when he really is having like a heart attack. He likes to go there if he has like a toothache or something like that. Not when
nothing wrong.
Not when he thinks he's dying of a heart attack. Because now they yell at him when he goes there because they know his whole fucking game already. They're like, wait over there behind the curtain for 6 hours.
Just ask her out for Pete's sake.
I think what they do, Jimmy purposely is they tell him to stay in this one. They'll lay him down in the bed. They'll put the TV on, and then they'll say, "We'll be back." And they wait like 3 hours. And he's like, "What the?" Then he goes crazy. Why am I waiting here for 3 hours? How come no one's seeing it? Because they know in 3 hours when he calms down, all the symptoms will be gone. They'll be like, "You having any symptoms?" "Oh, actually, I feel a little better now." All right, well, go home. Go home. Get out of here.
I think what happens is he gets the attention, that he needs, and he feels good, and then
all the nurses there treat him like he's like the mayor.
Yeah,
tell him how smart he is, how good looking he is. He tells them about how he plays the piano, and they probably get all impressed.
Oh, they squeeze his arms, and he gets
And he can't reach his back, so they're probably like, "Oh, I got to scratch him. I got an inch on my back," and they'll probably come and they'll scratch his back for him, and he's like, "Oh, thank you."
These kids, that reminded me. He can't reach back here. Do you remember when he had that little rat tail that he tried to put the rubber band around it?
Who would do that for him every morning?
What's her name?
The girlfriend did that?
Yeah, what was her name? The one who stole all his drugs.
Rita
would do it for him. He always knew if he was with Rita or not because he couldn't. The rat tail was never rubber band around it.
Right. Who had a longer rat tail? Was it Jimmy the Bull or was it Steve Carroll? They both had the same hairdo.
Steve Carroll, hands down. Steve Carroll had a gargantuan rat tail.
Steve Carroll looked like Harvey Weinstein, didn't he?
Like from the Amazon, like from the rats and live in the Amazon.
I thought they were brothers. But as a matter of fact, when Harvey Weinstein got indicted, I thought it was Steve Carroll when they put the picture up there. It looked just like him.
What a miserable human! What an absolutely miserable human
Oh
being!
my God.
Can you
There was not
imagine?
more. You know what the sad point about Steve Carroll was? That he actually, if you actually were able to get past his exterior, like tough guy, I hate everyone and hate the world, and you actually talk to him, he actually had good stories. Like he actually could have been a real human being if he tried, because he actually had a lot of insights, because he was exposed to a lot between the when he did that Extreme Championship Wrestling League. He owned a couple strip clubs for a while. He had good stories. And if you get him talking, he was good. But I don't know. He just was he's just a miserable person. So he liked to just push that off on everyone. Maybe he had chronic depression. I don't know what it was. But
I've known a few people like him over the years. They're very successful guys. They got money. They got, but it's all they got. The rest of their life is absolute misery. Miserable. They are the most miserable people on earth, but they got a lot of money, and one of these is a pretty close friend of mine, and he's always telling me, you should do this way, you should do this that way, and if you did it this way, you could get this. And I go, bro, if any of what I would do would make me have a life like yours, I would rather slit my wrists. Honestly, I know you would. I would burn my money if I had yours, but it's got nothing to do with it. Right. You are miserable, and you're miserable, and I tell you you're miserable all the time. You're miserable. Okay, so but that's people get caught up in this, and I'm sure Steve Carroll was the same way. Got caught up in his whole machination of making money and being successful, and moving the ball down the field. That's all he paid any attention to. Right. Like this guy, like the other guy I know. They're all the same. They are carbon copies of each other. They're miserable, life-hating, human being hating, negative people that absolutely hate. The only reuse they have for another human being is what money they're going to give. Right. That's it.
I never understood that. People just can't be happy. I don't know what it is about people.
Miserable.
Right. I mean, I tell people, look, if you're that unhappy with what you're doing in your life, then change what you're doing. It's that simple. What is making you so miserable? I understand there are some people that have a chemical imbalance in the head, and they're chronically depressed. Okay, it doesn't matter what they're doing or not doing, but most people don't fall into that category. Most people are miserable because of the situation they find themselves in, but yet they're not willing to do anything about it. Now, we break Jimmy the Bull's balls about how miserable he is in New York. He's really probably not that miserable, but he just likes to complain about it, because if he was that miserable, I think he's smart enough that he would do something about it. But a lot of people are really miserable, and it's just because of the situation they find themselves in, and they're afraid to do anything about it. And I understand that. Some people have kids. They don't want to disrupt their kids, and then they'll make the sacrifice for that. But at the end of the day, if your life is that bad, then you have to make. We only get one life, so you got to make the move sometimes at some point.
It's true. It's absolutely true. If you're not loving what you're doing, then I don't know why you're doing it, because it's either you got to have the gratification has got to be more than the money. It's just got to be more than that.
Well, what happens is these people they just quit their jobs, and then they don't do anything, and they just try to get disability checks from the state. Once you're sucking off the nipple of the state or the federal government, you're never going to be happy, because you're at their mercy now. You have to do everything they say at that point.
Well, Ben Shapiro actually did the numbers on one of his shows, and this administration currently, for a family of 4, can reap the handout benefits totaling over $100,000 a year.
Wow! Do nothing.
Do nothing. A family of 4. So that, what is the incentive? What is the incentive to go to work when you can? This isn't just a cash payment; it's accumulation of all the benefits. I mean, everything, all the handouts. So, what is the incentive to go to work? And then the other kind of problem that, and I did want us to talk on a show and have a show talking about success and what success actually is. because it's very misunderstood, especially in our biz. But you know, society places a certain value on a certain service. Okay, so in our society currently, lawyers have an hourly value of like $500. Okay, and a plumber has $150, and the guy who fixes the sprinklers outside is 25. Okay,
Right.
Now there's a lot of factors that go into machinating those values, but the point is society expects if you call the attorney, you're going to pay this amount of money. If you call the plumber, you're going to pay that amount of money. If you call the landscape guy, you're going to pay that amount of money. Now, you could be the best fucking landscaper the country has ever seen. You could grow grass on a rock on the moon. Okay. $25, that's what you're getting,
Not my landscapers, but yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? It's society puts the values on it. So it's a little bit disincentivizing to some people, because some people can be really, really good at what they do, but society doesn't place a very high value on that. You got to do it. I say if you're good at what you do, you'll find a way to make more money. I mean, like I know that the landscaper who works out here, I mean, he's got a crazy business. He's got the whole, because he's willing to work. And he's willing to work different crews and have, trucks and expand. Whereas the other guy who used to do my lawn, he downsized, and which is, when you downsize, then everything's dependent on you. In other words, if you don't go to work, you don't make any money. If you have two crews working for you, if you don't go to work, you're still going to make the money from the two crews. So do you want to have a job, or do you want to have a business? And that's really what it amounts to. So I think you can make money doing anything if you're good enough at it and you put enough effort and into it. Chris Aceto and I had this conversation. He says, I pretty much know downtown Maine. I know every single building there. I know exactly what it's worth, who's bought it, who owns it, how many floors it is, all the square footage, because all I do is study real estate. He goes, the block in Miami where I have my two condos, I know all those buildings there. I know what the condos go for. I know how much the building is. I know what the taxes, because that's all I do is study. He goes, it's like an obsession. I said, because that's what you're into. You like doing that, and you're good at it, and that's why you make money from it. I said, so if you immerse yourself in anything and be the best at that thing that you're doing, because all you do is think about that, and all you do is read about it, and all you do is conduct business regarding that, you have to be good at it. It's impossible not to. That's true, but see, the thing is that in the landscaper you took literally, that was just a euphemism.
No, I know what you said. Some people coast. Some people build a business. They have 10 to 25 customers, and they're like, that's enough.
That's true, but that's business. That's not actually cutting the lawn. That's being a businessman is a different story. It's a different job. Okay, but my point is that, let's say, for example, that in Chris Aceto's example, this passion that he has, instead of paying him the millions of dollars it's paid him over the course of his obsession with it, it's only paid him a couple hundred. Would you still consider him successful at what he's doing, based on his knowledge base, his ability to make decisions, based on all of this knowledge, if society didn't reward him with that?
But there are people who are afraid to take the risks that he probably did and leverage out and take mortgages and stuff like that on buildings. So that might not be as successful, but might be just as knowledgeable as him, or maybe more knowledgeable as him, that they just don't, they don't want to pull the trigger on it. So, if they love what they're doing and they give advice, maybe they teach real estate, or they teach, how to flip houses or whatever, or maybe they flip houses themselves, I don't know, but there's different aspects of the real estate, business to be in. And I guess it depends on what you're attracted to, there are people, John, that are just lazy too. Hey, you know what? I really love real estate. I have guys that come to me all the time. They want to breed snakes. They think they're going to make millions of dollars. I said, you know what? If you don't love these animals and you don't care if you don't make one penny, you will make nothing. Because what will happen is you'll get frustrated, and right before you're about to make money, you'll quit, because you'll think, oh, this is costing me money. Because you're really not into it. I said, you can't be successful at something unless you're really into it. Bodybuilding is a great example, because, I mean, you can bodybuild for 8 years straight, eating perfect, training, and people be like, look at this loser. He spends all his money on bodybuilding. He trains. He doesn't go to parties. He doesn't cheat. What a waste of his time. And look, he doesn't even look that good. And all of a sudden, one day he does a show and he wins. And people are like, whoa, how did you look like that? That's great. What diet are you following? What's all of a sudden everyone wants to know what this person did. That happened to me.
Right.
The first 5 years I trained, people like, oh, who's the skinny guy, at the gym? All of a sudden, after adding 20 pounds of muscle for 5 years straight, I gained 100 pounds of muscle. Everyone's like, what's this guy doing? I got to find out. I'll pay him. I'll give him anything. Right. What is he doing? I want him to do seminars. All of a sudden, I got people interested in it because you got to put the work in. It doesn't happen overnight. They say it takes 10 years to be a master in anything you do. Right. So that's why you shouldn't just have one job. You shouldn't just have one interest. Have a couple. Nurture those other ones while you're, while you're cutting the lawn, and maybe the lawn will lead to something else.
That's why I build shit. That's why I cook. That's why I do the things that I do, because it's like
diversify.
To me, it's when I design a machine or something and I build it, okay, and it works. The fact that it works, that to me, that's the success. I don't care how much. If society's only willing to pay me $1,000 for that, to me, that doesn't mean anything to me. The fact that I thought about it, I designed it in my head, I built it with my hands, and now I put the thing on it and I go like this and it worked. Okay, so to me, you know what I'm saying? It's the production of the product is in some instances the success, not necessarily the value that society puts on it.
Right. Look, I like to do art projects. All right. I like to paint. I like to draw. I don't put the amount of work and effort into doing that like I did bodybuilding. However, I believe in my heart, if that's all I did all day long was do art, paint, sculpt, took classes on it, made myself more knowledgeable about how to draw noses properly and mouths, and that's all I did is practice doing art every day, drawing something. I would probably be a pretty damn good artist. I wouldn't be one of these guys that can replicate a photograph and make it look. I would have my own abstract type of art. That's the kind of style of art I do. But like my father did. And my father didn't put a ton of effort into it. It was just natural. It came natural to him. If I did that, I believe that at some point down the road, I would make something unique that someone would want to buy. How much is that? That big that piece you did? Well, my father would say it's not for sale. My father would never sell anything. People used to come to our house and they say, "I want to buy that piece." Who made that? My father's like, "I painted it." He's like, "I'll give you $1,000 for." My father's like, "No." And meanwhile, afterwards, I'm like, "Dad, you could do another one." As soon as someone wanted to buy it, my father all of a sudden thought it was worth $1 million.
They're like children.
Yes.
The creations are like children.
Yes. Yes. So, but the point is that I think that if you put your mind to something and really dedicate it, and that's all you think about, and that's all you do, and you practice it every day, because there's a practice element. Nothing just comes naturally. Even Kevin Levrone is a hyper responder made for bodybuilding, but he practiced it. He went to the gym and he trained hard and he ate his food, and his body just responded better than everyone else's because he had a predisposition for that. But he practiced it. I know guys that were great bodybuilders that didn't look like they had any genetic potential. They weren't hyper responders, but they put a shitload of work into it and they achieved a level of success. Maybe not a Kevin Levrone level of success, but a level of success just because they dedicated their self to that craft. So I always tell people when they come to me, do I have the potential to be a pro? Can I make money in the sport? I said, absolutely. I don't say no to anyone because you know what? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Nobody.
Take-home message for today is, number one, learn how to wipe down your exercise machine. Number two, don't go getting too much plastic surgery because you're going to regret it. And number three, believe in yourself. And if you practice what you love, you will be great at it one day. I promise you that.
Create something, something, build something, learn how to make something. That's the best feeling in the entire world.
Yeah. Or find someone that you can pay to do it for you. No, seriously. I know a lot of guys that have a lot of great ideas, but they're not they're not the guys who are going to carry out those ideas. They need to hire someone to carry out those ideas. But there's nothing wrong with that because they came up with the idea to begin with. Hey, John, I got an idea. Build me this. This is what I want. You come and build it. But it's a collaborative effort because the person who came up with the idea to begin with is the one who's really.
There's always the design, the visionary. But I still think of the spectrum of things that are out there that everyone should be able to find something that they can do that actually produces something.
Look at Steve Jobs. Everyone thinks he made the iPhone. He didn't do it. He didn't make the iPhone. No. He came up with the idea for the iPhone, and then he said he got the people who could build it for him, and they built it.
But him and Steve Wozniak spent days in the garage together, welding together the first.
No, but Wozniak was doing everything. Steve Jobs was the guy just telling him, "Hey, do this. Can you make that?" Yeah. It was his idea, but he didn't do any of the actual welding or anything like that.
I don't know, but anyway,
I don't think Steve Jobs even knew what a welding machine was.
Soldering is what I meant.
Soldering machine, it was.
Welding is what I do.
Wozniak was the genius, really. He just needed.
He kind of was. You listen to those interviews to him afterwards, and he was the smart guy too. He took his money and.
How much did he make on that
millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars?
That's why I see a guy like Jack Owak. That's another guy who's brilliant. People probably thought he was a lunatic, living in his store, in the back room of the store, like Mr. G. And he built an empire with Bang. But you know what? Pepsi. This just tells you the mind of money doesn't always factor into every decision people make because Jack Owak could have sold Bang to Pepsi for what, $3.5 billion, and he said no.
Mm-hmm.
People might think he's insane for saying no, but you know what? How much money do you possibly need? He still has the company. All right, so maybe in the end he will never get as much money as Pepsi offered him, but I don't think he cares. I think he likes running the company.
He likes to win. So
right.
So it's in his mind, it's like Monster's not going to buy me. I'm going to buy Monster. If I'm Pepsi, I'm going to buy Pepsi. Pepsi's not going to buy me. I'm going to buy them.
I think he just likes the hunt. He likes the whole.
He enjoys
yes.
the confrontation.
Yes.
Some people are non-confrontational. People like that. Jack Owak is the exact opposite of non-confrontational. He's the polar, extreme opposite of non-confrontational.
I love that. I love that about him.
It's great.
It's refreshing.
Tells it like it is, man.
You don't want to be on his bad side that if he's going after you. That's the only thing,
You don't want to be there. Nope.
I know it looks like they rebranded Bang because I saw it in the Sam's Club today. It looks like it had a different color can. It was like all white again.
He does that all the time. He makes changes in color. The bottom line with Jack is the flavor master of the entire industry. He has his own laboratory. He makes his own flavor systems, and his flavors, his shit tastes amazing. Amazing. Every flavor of his is absolutely astonishing.
Well, and it's different than everyone else's. That's the whole thing too.
He's got flavors like cotton candy and cereal for dinner, and
I always wonder, there's got to be like a couple SKUs like that people just don't buy. Like a kooky flavor, I don't know, cactus pudding or something like that. What do you do with the cans that you can't sell because people just don't want to buy it because there's too many choices? You've confused the market. They don't know. They all want cotton candy. They don't want fucking cactus pudding. What do you do with the cactus pudding?
You know the answer to that. It ends up in the prison commissary.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
Well, the cheapest worst of the worst ends up in the prison commissary. Bob Barker's making a shit ton of money on it.
Or they ship it overseas someplace.
Or the military.
India's like, we love the cactus pudding in favor of Bang.
Or it ends up in an MRE and a freaking militant and army guy.
Believe me, if you're in a foxhole in fucking Afghanistan, a freaking cactus pudding Bang would taste like ambrosia. I'm sure.
Heaven, exactly.
Yeah. All right, we got to wrap this show up. We're over an hour.
Yeah,
we're almost an hour and a half actually. And guys, if you have any topics you want us to talk about, put them in the comments below, please. And hit that like button if you like this show, and we're going to keep doing it because it's therapeutic for both John and I. It helps lower our blood pressure. It makes my aortic aneurysm better, and it gives John more creativity to go build bikes after the show's over.
Yes.
And we'll be back again next week. That's it for another episode of Rips and Rants. I'm Dave Palumbo with John Romano. Thanks for joining us today.